Imagine waking up one morning and finding that a gadget in your home has simply died overnight. Not the battery, not a broken part. It just stopped. It sits there, cold and dark, and nothing you do can bring it back to life. You did not drop it. You did not break it. You did nothing wrong at all. The hardware inside is perfectly fine. Every wire, every chip, every part still works. And yet the device is dead. Why? Because a company, far away, reached out and switched it off. On purpose. Forever. There is a word for this. When a working device is turned into a useless block of plastic and metal, we say it has been bricked. Because that is all it is good for now. A brick. A paperweight. A thing you paid good money for, that a company killed with the flip of a switch from hundreds of miles away. This is one of the strangest and most unfair tricks in the whole modern world. And it is only getting more common as more and more of our things get connected to the internet. In this video, we are going to look at how companies can now reach right into your home and kill the very things you own. Because a growing number of your gadgets are not really built to fail. They are built to be killed whenever the company decides. Let me tell you a true story that shows exactly how this works. A while back, there was a clever little device called a smart home hub. It was meant to be the brain of a smart home. It let you control your lights, your locks, and your alarms, all from your phone. People paid good money for it, around $300, and the company made a lovely promise. They called it a lifetime subscription. Buy it once, they said, and use it for life. No more fees, ever. That word, lifetime, made people feel safe. It sounded like forever. Then a giant company bought the little company that made it. And the giant looked at this little hub and decided it did not fit their plans anymore. So they made an announcement. On a certain date, they said, the service would simply be turned off. And on that day it was. Every one of those hubs, in every home, went dark all at once. $300 devices turned into useless bricks overnight. Now here is the sickening part. The hubs were not broken. The hardware was perfect. They died for one reason only. They needed to talk to the company's computers, far away, in order to work. And the company simply switched those computers off. No servers, no smart home. The little brain in your house was fine, but its lifeline had been cut, on purpose, by the very people who sold it to you. And that lifetime promise? It turned out to mean the lifetime that they chose, not the lifetime that you did. To understand why this can happen, you need to understand one big idea. It is called the cloud. You have probably heard the word. The cloud sounds soft and fluffy and far away. But it is not magic. The cloud is just someone else's computers sitting in a big building somewhere. And more, the gadgets in your home do not really work on their own. They depend on those distant computers to function. Your smart speaker, your smart camera, your smart doorbell, your smart thermostat. Many of them are only half a device. The other half lives in the cloud, on the company's machines. This means your device is tied to the company by an invisible thread. Some people call it tethering. Your gadget is tethered, leashed, to their servers. And as long as they keep those servers running and choose to let your device connect, it works. But the moment they decide to cut that thread, for any reason at all, your device dies. You are holding the gadget. You paid for the gadget. But the company holds the leash. And they can let go whenever they like. And they do let go. Again and again and again. There was a little device that let you play your music in an older car. People bought it and loved it. Then the company decided it was not worth keeping. So they not only stopped selling it, they reached out and switched off the ones people had already bought and paid for. A device that worked perfectly in cars all over the world turned into a dead lump of plastic, all because of a decision made in a boardroom. There have been smart alarms and smart hubs and all sorts of clever gadgets that met the very same fate. The company moves on, and your device, still sitting in your home, still perfectly good, is simply switched off and left to die. Some companies have even gone a step further, and it is almost hard to believe. One maker of speakers offered people a discount on brand new speakers, but only if they agreed to put their old, working speakers into a special mode that would permanently destroy them. They actually asked their own customers to brick their own good speakers with their own hands, just to get a deal on new ones. Destroy the working thing you own, they said, and we will sell you another. People were so upset that the company backed down. But think about what it says, that they asked at all. In their eyes, a working speaker in your home was not a good thing. It was a missed sale. So why do companies do this? Why kill perfectly good products? The answer, as always, is money. Running those servers costs them a little money year after year. And an old product that people are happily still using is a product that is not being replaced. So it is cheaper and more profitable to simply shut off the old thing and nudge everyone toward buying the newest one instead. Your working device is not an asset to them. It is a loose end. And bricking it ties that loose end off for good. And there is an even bigger reason hiding underneath. Subscriptions. Companies have fallen in love with the idea of you paying them forever every single month. And a device you own outright that just works does not fit that dream. But a device that is tethered to their servers can be turned into a subscription. Pay us every month, they can say, or the thing you bought stops working. Bricking is the stick. The subscription is the cage. And together, they turn a thing you own into a thing you must keep renting. So let's be clear about who wins here. The companies, of course. They save the cost of supporting old products. They push everyone toward buying the newest model. And they get to herd people into paying monthly fees forever by holding their own gadgets hostage. And who loses? You do. You buy a thing, believing it is truly yours, only to have it killed on someone else's schedule. Your money and your trust thrown away. And the planet loses too. Perfectly good devices, full of chips and metals and plastic, turned into instant garbage, not because they broke, but because a company decided their time was up. And this is perhaps the darkest version of the whole idea we keep uncovering on this channel. With a light bulb, they had to weaken a filament. With a printer, they had to hide a chip. But here, they do not even need to touch the hardware at all. They just flip a switch far away, and your device dies. It is the ultimate kill switch. Planned obsolescence, turned into a single button, sitting on a desk in a faraway office with your gadget's name on it. Now, you might be thinking, wait, this cannot possibly be legal. How can they sell me something and then just switch it off? Surely if I bought it, it is mine. But here is the uncomfortable truth, buried in all that fine print you never read. In many cases, you did not really buy the device outright, in the way that you think. You bought the metal and the plastic, yes. But the software that makes it actually work, you only borrowed. You were given a license to use it, on their terms, for as long as they allow. It is a strange and slippery idea. You own the body of the gadget, but they still own its soul. And they can call that soul back whenever they please. So when they brick your device, they are often not even breaking their own rules. Because their rules, written by their own lawyers, quietly said all along that this could happen. You just never noticed. And once you start looking, you see this everywhere. Think about the smart light bulbs that need an app to work. If the company shuts down that app, your expensive bulbs may become just plain bulbs, or worse, useless glass. Think about the fancy gadgets that promised the future, and then quietly died when their makers ran out of money. There was even an expensive machine, sold for hundreds of dollars, whose only job was to squeeze juice from special packets. It needed the company and its app to work. When the company folded, that pricey machine became a useless block on the counter. People soon discovered they could squeeze the packets just as well with their bare hands. The whole expensive device had been pointless all along. It happens with baby monitors and fitness bands, and smart pet feeders, and doorbells, and cameras. It happens with video games and game consoles, which lose their online worlds the moment the company decides to switch off the servers, leaving you with a disk or a download that no longer fully works. Over and over, it is the same story. A thing you paid for, tied to a company's servers, quietly killed when that company moves on, or stumbles, or simply loses interest. And think about how fragile that makes everything. A company does not even have to be cruel to brick your gadgets. It just has to fail. If a company that makes smart home devices goes out of business, its servers go dark, and every single one of its devices, in every home, can die at once. So even when you buy from a company you trust, you are making a quiet bet. You are betting that they will stay in business and stay interested in your gadget for as long as you want to use it. And that is a bet you will very often lose, because companies come and go, and gadgets are forgotten fast. And there is a crueler cousin of bricking, too, which is switching a working feature off unless you start paying. People have bought cameras and doorbells and cars that worked perfectly on the day they got them. Then, later, a message arrives. To keep using the feature you already have, the recording, the alerts, the remote unlock, you must now pay a monthly fee. The hardware did not change. Your ownership did not change. They simply reached in and put a lock on a door that used to be open and started charging you for the key. It is bricking in slow motion. Instead of killing the device all at once, they slowly wall off its abilities, one by one, until the thing you bought is a shadow of what it was, unless you pay and pay and pay. There is something deeply wrong about all of this, and people are starting to say so out loud. Repair groups and consumer champions are fighting to make bricking harder and to force companies to let devices keep working even after the company walks away. The idea is simple and fair. If you sell someone a thing, you should not be allowed to secretly keep a kill switch and press it whenever it suits you. The thing should be theirs, truly theirs, to keep and to use, for as long as it physically works. That's such an obvious idea, even has to be fought for, tells you just how far we have drifted from really owning our own things. When you step back, you can see what has really happened. We have quietly moved from a world of owning to a world of renting without ever once agreeing to it. Your grandparents owned their radio. It was theirs. It sat on the shelf, and it worked on its own until the day it finally wore out, and even then, it could be fixed. But so many of today's gadgets are only borrowed, on invisible terms, from companies that can end the loan at any moment. And most people have no idea. They think they are buying. They are really just renting, with a bill that can arrive or a switch that can flip at any time. The connected gadget looks like a purchase, but far too often, it is a leash dressed up as a gift. So how do you fight back? You have more power than you think. First, be very careful about how much of your home you connect to the cloud. Every device that needs the internet and a distant company's servers to work is a device they can one day switch off. A simple lock, a simple thermostat, a simple light switch that works all on its own can never be bricked from far away. Sometimes the dumb version of a thing is by far the smarter buy. Second, when you do buy a smart device, look for ones that keep working even without the internet. Some good devices are built to run locally, right there in your home, so that even if the company vanishes tomorrow, your gadget keeps on working. That is a sign of a company that respects you. Seek those out. Third, be deeply suspicious of the word lifetime. As we saw, a lifetime subscription can quietly mean the lifetime that the company chooses. If a promise depends on a company keeping its servers running forever, then it is only as good as that company's mood. Do not pay a big price today for a promise that can be switched off tomorrow. Fourth, check a company's history before you buy. Have they bricked things before? Have they abandoned their gadgets and left customers stranded? A company that has done it once will very likely do it again. A quick search can save you from buying a future brick. Fifth, keep something old and simple as a backup and learn to value it. A basic lock with a real key. A thermostat with a simple dial. A speaker that just plugs in. These humble, unconnected things cannot be bricked, cannot be spied on, and cannot be held hostage for a monthly fee. In a world racing to connect everything to the cloud, the plain, dumb, old-fashioned version is quietly becoming the safest and the most truly yours. There is real wisdom in keeping a few things that answer to no one but you. And most of all, remember the trick. When a gadget dies for no clear reason, ask a brand new question. Did it break? Or was it killed? Because more and more, the honest answer is that it was killed on purpose from far away by the very people who sold it to you. So the next time you are about to fill your home with clever, connected gadgets, all chattering away to the cloud, stop for just a moment. Ask yourself a simple thing. If this company disappeared tomorrow or simply changed its mind, would this device still work? Because if the answer is no, then you are not really buying a device at all. You are renting one, on their terms, with a kill switch that they hold and can press at any time. They can build things that last. They can even build things that keep working on their own, forever. They just, more and more, choose not to. Because a thing they can switch off is a thing they can sell you, again and again. This is just one kind of trap in one kind of gadget. On this channel, we keep pulling them apart and showing you the hidden switches and leashes built into the things you trust. Because once you can see the kill switch, you can choose the things that do not have one. So stick around. There is a whole lot more to uncover.